Hey everybody, it's Tipsy Tuesday. Who's ready for Tipsy Tuesday? What's it called when you do the chicky 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 chicky? Look how pretty!
A fun weekly show where we grab our favorite drink. Salud!
Diana!
I see, it's nice.
We take our bras off.
Somebody just wrote chicken.
And we laugh at people from around the world.
Yeah, I want some cheese and crackers. Of course I do.
Sometimes we even have guests.
So put your jammies on.
It's time for Tipsy Tuesday.
Hey everybody, it's Tipsy Tuesday, and Lulu's head wants to be right there. How is everybody? Good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing? As you could tell by my fact that I'm 16 minutes late, I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I know. Hope my prayer is that everyone is sitting in front of a fire. I'm freezing. Hello, I'm freezing. Girl. Come here, boobs. Come say hi to everybody. Come here. Come over here. I know. All the dogs were like, this is where my first live in forever. Yay! I know. I didn't, Cassie. I'm still trying to put my bed together. We had the bedroom painted. And then they had to sand all the walls. And then that meant that there was a plume of smoky white dust all over everything. And luckily Allie, I'm sorry. So everything just had dust all over it. I haven't slept in my bed in like 5 days. I can't find anything. So today everything got cleaned and Jen, I'm glad you're here. So I was just trying to find pants. And I'm not going to tell you if I found them. I'm going to leave that up to you. Oh, under the covers with a glass of port. Oh, that sounds so nice. So hopefully everybody is somewhere cozy, warm. Lori, go ahead. Get under the covers, eat dinner, and we'll just chat tonight. Anna, I'm sending you lots of hugs. I know. Dina, I've been hanging out with you for over 38 months, almost daily. Oh my gosh. God forbid. It's too much. Snuggled up with my wine. Pat's the best way to go. Lois, glad to see you. Glad you're here. The kids called before they got out today. Tomorrow is going to be a 3-hour delay. Oh my gosh. I've got a heated blanket on top of my recliner. Girl. It is, Carmen. It's very cozy. There's only those 2 pieces of wood. And then otherwise, Jason will have to go out for more wood. So, yeah. So we'll see. Anyway. So, it's Tuesday. I don't know about, hey, Cindy. I don't know about everybody else. But I thought as we're all cuddled up, trying to stay warm, I would tell you a creepy story. You're like, I love creepy stories. So this creepy story is a true story. Oh, girl, what? It's a true story. So if you might have missed it, it was on the morning. Okay, I guess it's hoops off. The hoops were like, we're done. We're tapping out. Hoops off. So on the morning show one day, I think we were talking about dating sites, dating apps or something. And how maybe when I was on the dating apps, I might have brought up murder a lot. And I only do that because #Dateline. And I was talking about how I think that the real difference for men and women on the dating apps is that guys are like, oh, I hope I meet a lady and we have a good time tonight. And girls are like, oh, I hope I don't get murdered. Just very different, just baseline of like going into something. So anyway, I mentioned murder as one does on the morning show a bunch of times. And then somebody actually said it in the live on the morning show. It was like, did I tell you that my sister survived a serial killer? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, yes, it's a true story. And she wrote a book about it. And I was like, girl, what? Send me some information. I never thought of being that while I was on a dating app. Well, Tara, you're lucky because you would be what we call a target. You should have been thinking that. I know. No, listen, you should do it. I didn't get murdered. There's a lot of people that don't get murdered, but you should keep murder in the background. Anyway, so one of our watchers said, my sister survived a serial killer. And I was like, please send me information. So she did. Yeah, she said it in the comments. Okay. So she sends me her sister's name and she goes, do yourself a favor and look her up and read about her. Okay. So I'm gonna show you what I found and tell you the story. Here we go. Wait, I gotta find it. Give me a second because I had it the other day. And now I just gotta put it back into my Google. Give me a minute. All right, here we go. All right, are you ready for the story? I'm just gonna read it. All right? Exactly. All right, here we go. I gotta move some stuff. Hold on. That's my thinking face. Just ignore that. That's not my creepy face. You're like, it looks creepy. Stop it. All right, here we go. Hold on. It's not formatted right. That we don't usually read on the show. We try to avoid it. Okay, here we go. Here it is. I survived a serial killer. How a woman escaped after being beaten, bound, and stuffed in a trunk. Here we go. At 19, ad. This is a real story. This is the sister of one of our watchers. And she was like, you have to read it. Are you going to read it in a Vincent Price voice? I could try to use a creepy voice, although I think mine is somewhat creepy. Here we go. On a September night in 1992, Jennifer Espenson was in a panic. The California 19-year-old had missed her bus and was worried she'd lose her job at a home for children with disabilities. When a man pulled up in a light-colored sedan and offered her a ride, she was slightly hesitant but accepted. I thought to myself, this is a godsend, Aspenson, now 45, told People magazine. Sizing up the man's physical appearance comforted her further. I could totally beat this guy up if he did anything weird, she recalls thinking. The man drove her to her night shift and then invited her to have breakfast with him the following morning. But she was uninterested, so she gave him a fake number. Dum, dum, dum. Everybody's giving the guy a fake number. Okay. Still, when she finished work, when she finished work, the man was in his car outside and offered her a ride home. What's he still doing outside? Which she accepted. I didn't feel fear from him because he didn't do anything the night before, she said. Okay. She would regret the decision. What followed was a night of terror that haunted her for decades and is the focus of the following episode of People magazine Investigates. The episode, titled The Monster in the Desert, airs Monday at 10 p.m. Unbeknownst to Aspenson, she'd gotten into the car with a serial killer named Andrew Erdals, an ex-U.S. Marine who had already killed 4 California women. Less than 2 blocks away, he exploded with anger over the fake telephone number she'd given him, slamming her head into the dashboard and driving her to a remote desert spot where he attempted to sexually assault her. At one point, Aspenson was able to wrestle free from his grasp and run away, but she didn't get far before he grabbed her by the hair and shoved her inside his trunk before driving off. This is so creepy. Aspenson, whose hands had been bound, knew if she stayed in the trunk, she would die. That's when I got hysterical strength, she recounts. She broke her hands free and unlatched the trunk. When the car stopped, she jumped out. Sprinting down the middle of the road, she looked back and saw Erdales swinging a machete above his head, chasing her. It was like a horror movie, she said. She spotted a passing truck and flagged it down. The two Marines in the truck brought her to a gas station where she called police. Erdales went on to kill 4 more women in Illinois and California before he confessed to a total of 8 killings. Aspenson was left to grapple with her own trauma, which she chronicled in a memoir titled The Girl in the Treehouse. And it came out, I don't know what year. Dum, dum, dum. So if you want to read the rest of it, it's The Girl in the Treehouse, a memoir by Jennifer Aspenson. A serial killer had come into my work all the time. We didn't know he was a serial killer until he was caught. Obviously, Crystal, because if you did, that would be wrong. He was I had to read that. He was arrested with a woman's breast in his pocket. You're creeping me out so much. Look up Clyde Gibson. They found the body in his backyard. I think she was on Dr. Phil. Wow. I just creeped myself out, and I already read it. But I didn't read it at night with the lights. We're going to need some more wood. We need a fire. I'm cold. Hold on. I got to send a message to Jesus. Dum, dum, dum. Is anybody else creeping? Is anybody else thinking, I hope we never do this again? No. Missy's like, I'm Googling it now. I know. Now you're freaked. I was creeped out when I read it. And that was a couple days ago. And then it was cold tonight. And then I sat by the fire and I was like, this is a night for creepy stories. We cold. We had a guy at church who gave the priest his dossier. He had 7 personalities and was accompanied by 2 other people and was extremely dangerous. This happened a few weeks ago. Dum, dum, dum. Hey, just jumping on now, said Rachel. Rachel, good timing. You missed the creepy part of the show where I creep myself out. Look up Annie Ellis on YouTube. She's great. She tells creepy stories. A friend of mine was good friends with the wife of a serial killer. The wife had no idea until he was caught. I would hope not. My popcorn's done. Tell another story. What? Her eyes say, don't look. I live in an old house. Tara said, please stop. I don't think there was a documentary. It was a memoir called Girl in the Treehouse. Jennifer Aspenson. Mental note, don't take Dina camping. Rachel, quick, jump off. I know. The fire went out as the story went out. Did she do that on purpose? Yeah. All right, I could change it and tell you the other article I prepared for tonight. And the name of that article is, we sampled 15 jars of creamy peanut butter and there's one clear winner. Now, I didn't want to bring it up because I think it's divisive. I think that it's wrong, but it would lighten the mood. I'm just saying. There's got to be a yin and yang. Murder, peanut butter. I mean, some people say chocolate and peanut butter go together, but I say no. I say no. It's murder and peanut butter. I'm freezing. What should I throw in the fireplace? Why is he not reading his text? It's the yin to the yang. Peanut butter is the yin to the yang of murder. Hold on, I gotta tell him to go you gotta get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. I literally had Lulu laying in my crotch, which okay. She was about to go where she was like and made no attempt to save herself. Did you ever just look at your fat dog and they're like, yep, going over? I'm sorry. That was the funniest thing. You didn't even try to save her. She's like, she's going to catch me. I'm sorry. That was the funniest thing in the whole world. Listen, she was playing a straight game of like, what's the game where you're supposed to fall backwards and somebody's going to catch you? Like truth or it's like a trust game, but then nobody catches you and you fall. That's hilarious. All right, stay right there. I'll be back. I'm coming. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, she was definitely hoping I was going to catch her. Yeah, trust fall. That's what it was. And she was doing it. That's a tiny fire. I know. Okay, let's look at this face. We never see this face. So, do you guys know about Rover and who uses it? Does anybody know this app? We just started using it. She has pants on. You're lucky. So as you know, I've moved to a new country called Pennsylvania. And the kids are all, off doing their lives. So now it's just me and the dogs. It's a dog walking app. And it's basically like an Airbnb of dog walking. I used to be a sitter on Rover. It is, Sarah. And you can literally go on there. Thank you. I appreciate you. It's literally nothing. I mean, it's still going, but yeah. So you can go on Rover if you're looking for, it could be dogs, it could be cats, it could be any animal really. And you go and you look up like dog walkers, people get reviews. It's like Airbnb and people be like, oh, I really loved this dog walker or, yeah. Actually, you now live in PA. We don't call it Pennsylvania. Jason, when people say, where do you live? Do you say PA or Pennsylvania?
I say Philadelphia usually, but I think you can say either way, actually.
I think cool people say PA. Is that what you're supposed to? Do they take care of 7 sugar gliders? I don't know what that is. They do not probably watch hippopotamus. So we had a dog sitter come and come meet the dogs because we need a dog sitter coming up. And Booby did not like any part of it. She was like, I don't want to meet anybody. I don't want to be friends with anybody. It was so funny. So we are slowly getting used to trying to. I'll tell him when he comes back. Yeah, because there was like an interview process. You got to know your dog's birthday. Just so you know, every dog's birthday is April 1st. That's it. I decided. because I don't even want to tell you the problems I got into at the local CVS when they called in something at the human pharmacy. And when I got to the pharmacy, they were like, "Who are you here for?" I said, Lulu Blizzard. And they're like, "Birthday?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Birthday? I need the birthday." I was like, "I don't know. She's a foster dog. She don't even know her birthday." She's like, "Ma'am, I need to know the birthday or I can't give the script." I said, "Well, do you know the birthday? Maybe you could tell me." She's like, "Well, there's a birthday on here. What is it?" December 25th. Lulu and Jesus are both born on the same. I don't know. She's like, "I'm sorry. I can't give you the script." I said, "Are you joking?" First of all, it's ridiculous I'm getting a dog script at a CVS. That's number one. Number two, I think it's weird that you know my dog's birthday and I don't. And number three, who made this up? I had to call the vet. She's like, "Well, the vet put in a birthday and you need to know what it is or I can't give you the medicine." I was just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever had. So now anytime I go to the vet and they're like, it's like a new dog, I'm like, "What's the birthday?" April 1st. That's it. Just so you know, set it up now because there's no going back. Why did I tell you that story? It was so funny. I have a lot of weird things that happen in my life. I'm just like, what? What? Yeah, so weird. So anyway, so that's it. For in Rover, you have to put in your dog's birthday. You have to say, is it good with other dogs? Is it this? Is it that? It's all this stuff. Yeah, it was just so funny. Please remember the other one, July something. That's what I mean. Because of the dogs that are out. Look at this face. Look at this face. Look at it. This is a rare sighting. A rare booby sighting. I know. A smush. Oh my gosh. Our dogs were born in February, December, August, and March, and they all have parties and presents on their birthday. My Dotson mix was just referred to as a keg of beer, and I think I'm overfeeding him. Thank you, baby. Missy asked it when you're done if you could just maybe bring some snacks to her house.
Tell her I'm on my way.
How are they doing without Captain Tuto? They seem oblivious. They live in a special place where everything's great and wonderful. Yeah. We just celebrated our foster Fail's 3rd birthday. Did you know that Petco sells birthday pies for dogs? She loved it. I don't know what you're saying. No, but she would love that. Efrat, I'm sure that they had a birthday. I just don't remember it. We always used to change their names and apparently change their birthdays. They didn't care. Janet, when he comes by, I'll have him wave. Aw. My golden is overweight. She is only 2. The vet said we need to talk about her weight. There's an uncomfortable. How do the dogs feel about Jason? Well, here's what's funny is anytime that Jason and I hug, Lulu will immediately start crying. Do your dogs do this? And it's the funniest thing. It is, it's just so funny. So I have to hug her after I hug Jason or she gets real weird. I made our pup's birthday dinner, all her favorites: salmon, sweet potato, and green beans. You guys are so nice to your dogs. I let my dogs live here and eat here, and I cuddle with them. Dennis pushes Jeremy out of bed. That's the one thing, the dogs are not allowed in the bed when Jason's around. They're also not allowed on the couch when Jason's around. So it's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. Leslie, I don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Jealous dogs, Jurgen. I miss you guys. We're going to have to meet up in a country very soon. Mm-hmm. Erica, really? That's so funny. My dog used to get between me and my husband and do a death howl. My baby would bark even after 22 years of marriage. Uh-huh. Yeah. Bacon, my dog, never cared when anybody hugged me, but after my husband got sick, he barks like a madman if I'm touched. That's really funny. Well, Ophelia, I will. Mm-hmm. That's so funny. Oh, look at that fire. That's the fire we needed during the scary story. Mm-hmm. 16 inches tall and 14 pounds, but will throw you off a king-size bed. That's funny. You guys want to do another scary story? I don't know why. Uh-oh. Boob, you want to move? Because that's a roaring fire. I'm so cold, but it's much better now. Mm-hmm. Rachel, that's funny. I can't read that. Our little Lapsapoo, my husband named her the something blocker. Mm-hmm. Boob, come here. Come here. So that's a good fire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, flashlight under your chin. Mm-hmm. I know. I like happy, motivating stories instead of scary stories. Okay, Joey. I know. There's maybe just like one more. No more scary stories. It seems like October with these stories. Well, what's a good January story? I don't know any January stories. It was a night just like this one. Mm-hmm. Peanut butter wars, said Julie. Uh-huh. Oh, she's a baby. You's a baby, mama. Mm-hmm. Murder hotel stories. Here's my scary story. I spent the day with 3 teenagers. That's very scary. Here, no. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. This is working. All right. At least sit there. Okay. All right. Do you ever see dogs that are just like, they're big dogs, but they act like that they're like lap dogs? She's like, you guys, I'm just a lap dog. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Maybe just one, like a medium. Just like a medium scary story. Let me just see if I can find one that's like medium scary. Scary stories. Or she just... Okay. Scary stories to tell in the dark. wish I had like a scary story book, and then like randomly throughout the winter we could just read them, right? These are all just what does that mean? Hold on. No, okay, boo. Your legs are killing me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why did we decide we needed scary stories at night? Don't say that. There's nobody at the door. Mm-hmm. She's slowly sinking. She was. You saw it. Mm-hmm. What? Melinda said most of the scary stories turn out to be dirty. I don't know what you're reading. I wish I had like an Edgar Allan Poe book or something. Mm-hmm. Oh, I would totally do it, Bob. I wonder if there's one over there. Should I look? Because this is Jason's library. Let me just look. He's pretty smart, so he might have an Edgar Allan Poe. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. I follow a woman on TikTok who was married to a serial killer and she didn't know. Dum, dum, dum. All right. Now, just so you know, he's really smart. So he's going to have smart books. It's very funny because I feel like if you like put our books together, you'd be like, that's a Tina book, that's a Jason book. I don't know how you'd know, but you would know. I'm gonna have to tell him he's gonna have to get like a short story. Does anybody know what a Werther is? It says the sorrows of young Werther and selected writings. Does that mean anything to anybody? Dr. Zhivago, that won't take long. War and Peace. Duh, that's up here. Listen, he has all like amazing literature, and if I read my book collection, it would be dirty. I don't see any short stories. I don't think he reads short stories. I think he reads long ones. This one has a library code on it. I think he stole it. Tolstoy? That's weird. Okay, so we need. Oh, wait. No. Nothing's. Oh! Collection of essays. Wait a second. Collection of essays. I know. I don't even know. Will you get flagged if you read Poe? I don't think so. If I was smart and I knew. You know, tell me if you just met somebody and you were on a date and they came over and perused your collection of books, what impression would they get of you? Oh. Uh-huh. If you just met somebody or you were dating somebody and they saw your collection of books, what impression? That I'm a serial killer? Sam, I am. They'd be like, get out of my house. They would think I could cook. Good question. I don't have a collection. I'm as dumb as a stump. Mysteries. I read a lot of young adult. Interesting. I wonder what that says about you. It's mostly cookbooks. They would be very hungry. Uh-huh. They think nothing. It's all kids' books. They would think I need help. I have a lot of self-help books. They'd be like, this one reads a lot, needs a lot of help. Love stories. All I have is Nicholas Sparks. Isn't that funny too, Carmen? Because wasn't he the one that was writing all of these like beautiful stories of love and falling in love and meeting the person of your dreams? And then he had like this rich history of all these amazing books and love stories. And then boom, he divorces his wife. Right? I read mostly erotic adult fiction. They either love it or get scared. They would think that there's more than one person in my head. I read crazy psychological thrillers, but on my Kindle. Classic romance dictionary, writing books, craft books, cookbooks, semi-educated. All right. I'm street smart, not book smart. But I love the shore, any beach town. They would definitely know that I could fix things by my book collection. All right. But she might be able to cook, Jessica. Jim's like, they would think I'm illiterate. They might ask why I have 3 copies of A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Jason, do you happen to have any short creepy stories by like Edgar Allan Poe or anything? I found.
Yeah, how good are Edgar Allan Poe?
You do? Do you have
Yeah.
any other creepy stories? I found Ralph Ellison, but I don't know who that is, and I don't know any.
Yeah, that's not too creepy. I mean, The Invisible Man.
Oh, that's
You know
a
that?
long story. Yeah,
Huh?
I saw the movie.
That was his one novel that was really good.
I couldn't find Edgar Allan Poe. Jacqueline came and put all Jason's books in alphabetical order. She's like, I have to fix this. Jason loves books. So I asked everybody, I said, if you were dating somebody and they came over, I knew that. Why didn't I look under Poe? And they came over and saw your book collection, what would they think of you? So people are saying, they would think that I need a therapist. I have a couple of Shel Silverstein books on him. He's so creepy. Why do they put his picture on the back? And his books are so good. The Missing Piece is one of my favorite. I wrote a song and I'd sing it to the kids. I hate to say this, but they think I was into nothing but murders and psychos. They would know that I want to go to Africa. Probably that I'm still a teenager, but also like to read things that teens shouldn't be reading. That you're in a medical, new agey, and angels.
I think this is like a first edition too. It's like a real rare book.
Well, I don't want to. Do you have like a favorite creepy story by Poe?
I don't know. Telltale Heart is good, the classic one. You know?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know that I've read it.
Telltale Heart?
Yeah. Are you allowed to read them on the internet? Well, it's like classical music. Like, you could just. Telltale Heart. Should we read that one? Is it creepy?
Yeah, it's like scary. It's like like a murder story.
Should we read it? Are you allowed to read? I guess you can, right?
Oh, on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Well, that's a whole nother question. I mean, the spirit of Poe may come after you if you're getting compensated on his behalf. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brown bear, what do you see? Yeah, first edition, Julie. Mm-hmm. Telltale Heart is amazing and creepy. All right, so Jan, can you come wave to Janet? She wants to say hi to you. Telltale Heart is my favorite. It's very creepy. It's good and creepy. Oh, you got a hand. Mm-hmm. Go for it. Yeah. Google if you can before you read it. Who? Okay. Can you read Poe on the internet? Can you Google that?
It would take
Can
like 45 minutes to
read
read it all.
Poe
It's
on
not
the
like that short.
Yes, you can read Poe's work online on the internet. Most of his poems and short stories are readily available on various literary websites and online libraries, allowing you to access them through your web browser. All right, done. Now listen. Okay. All right, so you don't have to stay. Read us the Cliff Notes. I don't think that they do that for Poe. I've never read it. Do you want to read some of it?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't. You can't though. You're a better orator than me.
All right, here we go. True, nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous I have been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, but dulled them. Above all was the sense of acute hearing. I hear all the things in heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none. Passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing, but you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in the dark lantern, all closed, so that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening so far that I can see him as he lay upon his bed. Ha! Would a mad man have been so wise as this? And then, when my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously, oh so cautiously, for the hinges creaked, and I undid it just so that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. And every morning when the day broke, I went boldly into the chamber and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a hearty tone, and inquiring how he had passed the night. So you see, he would have been a very profound old man indeed, to suspect that every night, just at 12, I looked in upon him while he slept. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. The watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own powers, of my own sagacity? Is that a word? Sorry. This is so good. We're reading The Telltale Heart. Oh, a lot of thrusts. And it took a lot for me not to read it dirty. You're welcome. Okay. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph to think that there was one opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly, as if startled. Now you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was as black as pitch with the thick darkness, for the shutters were closed, fastened, through fear of robbers, and so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing on it steadily. I had my head in and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening, and the old man sprang up in bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I didn't move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed listening, just as I have done night after night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall. Presently I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or grief. Oh no, it was the low stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo the terrors that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the man felt and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise when he had turned in the bed. His fears had been ever so growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them cautiously, but could not. He had been saying to himself, "It is nothing but the wind in the chimney. It is only but the sound of a mouse crossing the floor, or it is merely a cricket which has been made a single chirp." Yes, he had been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found all in vain. All in vain. Because death is approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped a victim. It was now the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length a small dim ray, like the thread of a spider, shot from the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness, all the dull blue with the hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray, as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. And have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but over-acuteness of the senses? Now I say there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury, as the beating of a drum simulates the soldier into courage. But even as I refrained and kept still, I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how stealthily I could to maintain the ray upon his eye. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say louder, every moment. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous, so I am. And now at the death hour, at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house. So strange a noise at this excited me to uncontrollable terror. Yet for some minutes longer I refrained and stood there. But the beating grew louder and louder. I thought the heart might burst, and now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leapt into the room. He shrieked once only. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes, the heart beat on for a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would be hard. It would not be heard through the wall. At length it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. If you still think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. I then took up 3 planks from the floor of the chamber and deposited all between the scantlings. I then replaced the board so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I had been too wary for that. A tub had caught all. Ha ha! When I made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark. It's midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? There entered 3 men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been logged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputies to search the premises. I smiled. For what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man, I mentioned, was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them all his treasures, secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them here to rest from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild audacity of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, they chatted of familiar things. But ere long I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears. But still they sat, and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued and became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained definitiveness until at length I found that the noise was not within my ears. No doubt I now grow very pale, but I talked more frequently and with heightened voice. Yet the sound increased, and what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I grasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. I talked more quickly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I arose and argued about trifles in a high key with a violent gesticulations, but the noise steadily increased. Why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides as if excited to fury by the observations of the men, but the noise steadily increased. Oh God, what could I do? I foamed, I raved, I swore. I swung the chair upon which I had been sitting and grated it upon the boards, but the noise grew loud all over all and continuously increased. It grew louder, and still the men chattered pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no, they heard, they suspected, they knew, they were making a mockery of my horror. This I thought, and this I think. But anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now, again, hark, louder, louder, louder. Villains, I shrieked. Disassemble no more. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks. Here, here. It was the beating of his hideous heart. Dum, dum, dum. Wow. Boom, boom, boom. The end. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. With the hotel, there to go. I don't know, Leslie. I know. That's creepy. I'm gonna go make popcorn. Okay, bedtime. No. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think? You know what's so funny? I feel like oh good, Bob. Bob, I'll read to you anytime. I'm gonna have nightmares, said Kim. Alejandra's like, hi there. You just showed up. Yeah, you missed a lot. There was a reading. They got us scared. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Lorene. Do you remember like when your teachers, like I remember like listening to Poe in high school and just like being so uninterested, but I could listen to that. Come read that to my class tomorrow. Dum dum dum. What are we reading? We read Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart. Thanks, Patty. I would like to do audiobooks. I would do that. Yeah. Poe's birthday was yesterday. Well, that's why I did it. I knew that. Yeah. That was fun. Uh-huh. Dina does Poe, the newest internet sensation. Look, I hope you all feel smarter. When people listen, when you go to work tomorrow, and people are like, what did you do last night? I read The Telltale Heart, or I had somebody read me The Telltale Heart. Lorene, go lock all the windows and doors. Yeah, Laura, I can't wait to read my book. I think listening to my audiobook will be better than reading it. I know that saying it was easier than writing it, so I know that it's on the 19th, not the 20th. Okay. Yeah, I know that when I say like my stand up, yeah. Did you add narrator to your goal list? I should. Yeah. It's easier for me to speak my stories than to write them down. So hopefully it'll be, yeah. And apparently I have to use the word thrusting a lot in my book. Jason, I didn't say that. That was Poe's idea. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. Who in the world's going to go to sleep now? I'm not ready for Friday. No. So anyway, so listen, we hopefully got a little laugh tonight. We had scary stories. We talked about peanut butter for a minute. I'll tell you the peanut butter story tomorrow on the morning show. If you make it to the morning show. Ha ha ha. Yeah. No, listen, this is gonna be our new winter thing. We're gonna read, like in the fall, we'll just read scary stories. But in the winter, we'll read classics. Mm-hmm. Quote the Raven Nevermore. Mm-hmm. I will. I'll go back and read the comment. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. It was a different night, different Tipsy Tuesday, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. So thanks for being here as always. And Kelly, you're funny. And I'll see you tomorrow. We're talking about peanut butter. You don't want to miss it. Okay, that sounded weird. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.